What is going on, everybody? It is your boy SK. I'm here with Realistic Randy Rap. This is the Purple Parlor, and the Vikings are back in the winning column. And you know we're about to get down to it right after this.
I say the same. I say the same. All right.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to Purple Parlor, episode 12. And we're talking about a win. It's been a while, fellas. How we feeling off the Sunday night football win against the Colts?
I was about to be done with it all, man. But they got the win, and suddenly I did an about face of 180. We're back. All is well. All the drama and stuff we were talking about never happened. 6-2, we're back.
We back, baby. Let's go, man. Hey, for sure, I'm lit, man. We needed that. You know what I mean? As a Vikings fan, I needed that last night, man. I mean, listen, if we would have found a way to lose that game, tonight wouldn't have been fun. I'm gonna just put it like that. It wouldn't have been fun. But
No,
hey,
it would have been rough.
We're gonna make it fun. I know SK over there, he on his hezzy vibes, man. We're gonna let him get to it, man. How you feeling, SK? You know what I mean? That's the real question. That's the real question.
You know that first half at halftime, and I know Randy Rap was probably in his bag too. But I don't know if you did a live feed for the game this week, Randy. But I know you were on one in that first half or on halftime. Man, what the hell? We got Hawkinson.
No, what you talking about, man? I was positive. I was happy as hell the whole time. I was like, all that negativity, don't got time for it. They're going to bounce back. All you got to do is believe. No, I was pissed.
Yeah, I mean,
I was right there with you.
Yeah. All of us were. I mean, and I was pissed, but I wasn't as pissed as I was in the Rams game because I kind of always felt that we were going to somehow win the game anyways. It was only a 7-0 lead. And I felt kind of us knowing the type of coach KOC is, and he has a little bit of fire. So I'm sure he went in that locker room and he let those players know, look, you guys need to get your shit together, man. We got way too much talent on this team to be losing like to a team like the Colts at home. We're on national television. You're here out here to prove a point. Let's get our shit together. And obviously the second half was a completely different half, at least for the Minnesota Vikings offense. But overall, man, I mean, the first question that I have is, are the Vikings back to what we saw the first 5 weeks of the season? I don't know. I can't say we're back because I only got 2 quarters of good football. Now, don't get me wrong. The defense played great. I'm not taking anything away from the defense. Although it was the Colts offense, it's nothing crazy to be, intimidated about besides Jonathan Taylor, who we actually did a really good job against. I believe he had like 50 yards rushing on the day or something like that. But I'm not super impressed. Like I feel like I need to see more. That it's the first 2 quarters of good football I've seen from this team in like a month. So, and it was against the Colts. So we're playing another team in the Jaguars next week on the road. And the Jaguars scare me a whole lot more than the Colts do. So if we're able to take care of business against the Jaguars and take care of them convincingly, then I'm back on the horse. But right now, I'm pumping my brakes a little bit, man. It just wasn't super impressive to me with the team that we play. Because let's be real, the Colts are kind of in like dire straits right now. They just benched their franchise quarterback, who we thought was going to be their franchise quarterback, and Anthony Richardson. And it's just like they're kind of in shambles right now. So I'm not too impressed from this victory. Sorry, not sorry.
They're back until they're not. I will say that I feel good because they got the win. That's all that mattered to me. And the fact that they were able to do this, and I understand, SK, what you're saying is that they're the Colts. They're going to barely be above or below 500 at the end of the year. But the way they played against the Rams, and I get it that they had Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, but they just got back. The game against the Lions, that's one thing. But the way that they played against the Rams, I'm just sitting here saying, okay, is the defense cooked? And the reason why I'm going to say that the team is back for now until they're not is because we saw the defense come back to life. That's a really good offensive line, and we were getting dashed up by the last two running backs that we played, and Jahmyr Gibbs and Kyron Williams. Well, this is Jonathan Taylor. This is a beast. And guess what? They showed up against that run game, putting all of the pressure on Joe Flacco. So I understand that it wasn't pretty throughout the season. Unless you're the Detroit Lions, no team is going to look pretty game in and game out. The only thing that matters is getting the W. I'm saying that they're back right now. That said, it is possible that they can lose to anybody if they revert back to what we've seen the last two games. But for now, I think this is good for the team because they got confidence. They can somewhat get their swagger back. And the way that they played for each other, the way that the Colts were barking at the Vikings and the Vikings were barking back, that was a pure physical game. And as long as this defense is back, the Vikings are back as a whole.
I agree, man. Listen, the defense was impressive last night. We can all say that, regardless of how you felt about the game as a whole, man. The defense alone, like once again, Brian Flores and his defense came through and were the saviors, man. You know, not allowing a touchdown, that's nasty work, man. You know what I mean? I'm here for it. And I think it could be similar going against the Jags, man. Like, I know SK, I know you said you were a little more worried about the Jags, but
Absolutely.
I mean, they're about the same type of team. And I would honestly
really
I would honestly, man, honestly, I would say Joe Flacco, dead ass, is playing better than T Law is horrible, man. Like for sure, man. He is. Like it's like you hear his name and you're like, yeah, he's like a top 5 quarterback. But then you think about it and you actually watch him play, bro. Like he is not that good. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about the run game. They have a rookie wide receiver who's their number 1 receiver who's playing okay. But I think Brian Flores, again, the defense is going to be able to dominate that game. Just like we did last night, man. Defense dominated last night, bro.
So you have no worries about the Jags. Like the Vikings are back to you.
Yeah, I think we're back. Just like you said, as if the defense is back, the Vikings are back. And I think you know that this 2 games skid, which I really only call it a 1 game skid, because again, the way I looked at the Lions game, I'm not going to sit there and hold that against our team and say,
fair enough,
you guys got dominated out there. I think that was just a heavyweight bout, and we just happened to fall a little short, right? The Rams game is one thing, but like last night, that it was bounced back. The offense, we know, man, we've had these conversations over and over again. We know what we have on offense. We know we have a superstar wide receiver, maybe 2. We know we have a good tight end, but again, the captain, the guy, I call him the captain, but the quarterback of this team, we got to know how to temper our expectations. It is what it is, man. He's going to be who he's going to be. And we saw it last night was a prime example of fucking Sam Darnold, bro. Like for real. It's great. That shit was crazy.
Go ahead.
If I'm looking at the positive side of things, if I'm not being a negative SK here, I would take it. Okay, these last 3 games, you have a tough game against Detroit. Come up short by we lost by
2 points.
Yeah.
31-29, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you have to turn around on a short week to play the Los Angeles Rams on the road on Thursday night. They brought back Cooper Kupp. They surprisingly, out of nowhere, brought back Puka Nacua. So that kind of threw a wrench in there. So, and teams are, I think, 0-6 or 0-7 now after playing the Lions in the following week. So there's somewhat of a Lions hangover for teams after they play the Lions. So if I'm looking at the positive side of things, I say, okay, we lost a close one against arguably the best team in the NFL and the Detroit Lions. And then I had to turn around on a short week against a desperate Rams team that needed that win to save their season at home. Then I can look at it that way and say, you know what? We dropped 2 in a row. It sucked. Obviously, we lost Darasol, which we'll get to kind of the reaction from what we got from Cam Robinson yesterday. But if I'm looking at the positive side of things, those are 2 games that obviously you don't want to lose. But that's a tough little 4 days, 5 days against 2 teams where it's the Detroit Lions, best team in the NFL, and then you have the Los Angeles Rams, who were extremely desperate at the time. and it looks like they're starting to work their way back into kind of a playoff spot in the NFC. And that's a team we could possibly see again in that same stadium in the playoffs. So, I mean, I can see the positive side of things. I just got to see a little more than 2 quarters of good football. That's all I'm saying.
I want to get back to the Sam Darnold factor. Is that we have to accept who he is as a quarterback. This team can still go far even with Darnold as QB1, but it's all about managing what it is that he can do and not do. It doesn't matter. I know that he's never had a supporting cast like this. We've talked about that so many times. At the same time, yesterday's game last night, Sunday Night Football, was a prime example of those 2 interceptions were bad. They were absolutely
bad.
brutal. But the good side of him throwing 3 touchdowns in that final drive where he drove the ball, he and the Vikings offense 60 yards to make it 21-10, essentially icing the game. That's the good side of Sam Darnold. But what I will say, if this team is going to go far, it starts with the defense. We can't have the defense fall apart. They've got to be lights out. We can't put Sam Darnold in a position where he has to go pass for pass with any quarterback in this league. So as long as this defense is playing well, we're straight. Secondly, I think we should seriously go to a run-first offense just to minimize the chances of mistakes that Sam Darnold can make. Yesterday against the Colts, the Vikings 133 yards on the ground, and even when Aaron Jones doesn't necessarily look great, averaging 3 yards per carry, Cam Akers stepped in and did a hell of a job, bro.
Really good.
And then you get to Sam Darnold, where he had 34 pass attempts, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But I think, honestly, if we can get it to where Sam Darnold is throwing no more than 25 pass attempts per game, and you give those additional pass attempts to the running game with the attempts on the ground, I think that's your best chance of reaching your ceiling this year, whatever that's going to be. I think we should not sit here and pretend, yes, the Vikings, they won the game and that's all that matters. But we can't sit here and then say, hey, it's all good. Keep doing what you've been doing, because it is the Colts.
Yeah.
But when you're going up against the better teams, when you face Detroit in week 18, we can't have Sam Darnold going pass for pass with Jared Goff.
No.
But the recipe is there. But I think they got the win. And as long as they realize that, they're going to be set.
Yeah. What I liked about this game, though, is that it wasn't like our 5 prior wins to where we built up a lead and we kind of just coasted the rest of the way. It was that scripted that Randy's been harping on for the past 3 or so weeks of, okay, KLC has a great game plan going into these games, but once, adjustments are made, then the offense falls flat. We just don't look the same. This game was kind of the opposite, to where the scripted stuff was working outside of Sam
in the
Darnold
first half.
We got down there. Sam Darnold just
that's true.
We're driving the ball, so that was a great first drive, and then Sam Darnold just had a bonehead throw and threw it right to a Colts defender. But outside of that, we had 0 points in the first half, so we had to make adjustments. We had to get that offense going in the middle of the game, and that's exactly what happened. I believe our next 3 possessions were all touchdowns, right? Or
First two possessions in the second half were touchdowns. I believe the next one was followed up by the interception, and then they recovered from there. But they had to play from behind, which is something that we've seen them have to do in the last 2 games, but this time they were able to overcome and get the W. So I think this is a big confidence booster.
Yeah, the energy was there coming out in that second half. You can tell they went in that locker room and they're pissed off, said, what the hell are we doing, man? Like, regardless of the opponent, it's hard to get wins in the NFL, and the Colts are a tough out. We beat the Colts by more than any other team did this year. So that was their biggest loss of the season. Yeah. So, I mean, you can hang that up as a win, but go ahead.
Yeah, hang the banner. Hang the banner. You know what I mean? No, hey, listen, this game was definitely not the norm as far as what we've been seeing from the Minnesota Vikings this year, because like you said, coming out, the scripted plays, we usually go right down the field, score a touchdown, then get a stop, then maybe kick a field goal, go up by 10, and then the game starts, right? Like
Mhm.
that's what it's been feeling like with the Minnesota Vikings this year. And yeah, man, last night was a little different, bro. It's like we're getting down there, just Sam Darnold's throwing in fucking quintuple coverage. Like some of the shit I just don't get when he does it, bro. I think that's what frustrates me the most is like this is my concern that I've been harping on for the longest is if you do that in the playoffs against a team that has an actual offense, bro, you will
And it
go
costs
down
you.
by 14 points in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
And then you're really fighting an uphill battle. Like those things are crucial. So going
Mhm.
back to what Randy said, being run first, hey, look, man, I can dig it. I can dig it. I hope our offensive line can hold up and be able to make that happen consistently on top of Aaron Jones getting that wear and tear. Because right now I think there's a good enough balance. But I'm with it though. If we can do that, I think that would be ideal as far as being able to for longevity, as far as being competitive. You know what I mean? Because if you put the ball in Sam Darnold's hands, bro, he is going to make mistakes over and over again, man. And sometimes he'll
Yeah.
throw some darts. I mean, it just is what it is, man. It's Sam fucking Darnold, man. You know what I mean? Like, but man, shout out to him. Can I real quick, man? I want to tell y'all the thing that made me smile, man. This thing made my heart smile was and as Randy, you gonna appreciate this. I know you've seen it because you was watching the game. The play at the end, the last touchdown with Josh Oliver. Let me tell you why that play was super important. That was a sign of change from KOC or maybe Wes Phillips being down there too, because they did make some changes last night. For
Mhm.
the ones who
He's
didn't
on the
know, Wes
sideline.
Phillips was on the sideline last night. They tried to kind of change it up. That play in particular, that sequence in particular, in the past, they would have easily just ran the ball 3 times, took the
Yeah.
three, said,
Mhm.
fuck it, let's just milk as much clock as we can get, run up the middle, dive, whatever. But instead, they said,
Just
fuck
end
it, we
it.
about to throw the dagger at them. And they
Yeah.
did, man. And that right there, seeing that happen, that play action, rolling to the left, throwing it to really stick the nail in the coffin, that made me smile as a Vikings fan. That's what I want to see more of, man. Playing to win, not playing not to lose. I hate that shit.
Facts.
So
And
And there was a receiver underneath. I think it was either Addison or Jefferson that on that exact play to Josh Oliver for that touchdown. And I said, oh, okay, he's going to throw it underneath. I didn't even see Oliver until the camera panned to him. And I said, oh, shit, they're being aggressive here. All
Mhm.
right, we'll take that. But yeah, that goes back to taking the good with the bad with Sam Darnold. So
Yep.
managing expectations. It's not just the 2 interceptions that he threw. If he wasn't throwing interceptions, he was throwing errant passes at times. And bro, I talked about this last night on the post game vid. Something has really changed with him mentally. Now, maybe that final touchdown drive changed everything, but leading up to that, man, the man was just seeing ghosts, I feel, standing in the pocket and waiting for things to happen. There were multiple times where Jordan Addison was wide open but
On
didn't
that
see
on
him.
that second interception.
yeah.
Facts.
Touchdown.
And I
Touchdown.
do
Touchdown open.
And I think he does go through his reads, but for whatever reason, he doesn't see Addison. But I'm hoping that final drive gave him the mojo, the swag to go into practice and film review this week and say, okay, I know I can do this. I just have to settle down and be myself. That said, the coaching staff still has to, I believe, transition to a run first offense because this run game, the run blocking that we have had, and with Aaron Jones and Cam Akers chewing up clock and putting Sam in a position to where, okay, make the throws that are absolutely necessary. I think that's going to give this team the best chance to win week in and week out.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're talking about how aggressive we were towards the end of that game to ice that game essentially with that touchdown pass to Oliver. But let's talk about the third down where we run a freaking end around with Justin Jefferson. He tosses it back, or not an end around. We run a like a double pass with Justin Jefferson. He throws it back to Aaron Jones, and that was, I think it was 3rd and 10 or something like
It's
that.
like third and
Ended up
12. Like
third and
third and
12,
12, and we
something like
got
that. Which
16. Yeah.
which those are one of those plays to where if that doesn't work out and it looks sloppy and we go for no gain, we're sitting here and Randy's still doing his rant about that one singular play as we speak right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it worked. Those are
Yeah.
those type of plays to where it's like, okay, Kelsey's not being aggressive. It's just sometimes it's just not the right time to call the play, which that time it obviously was the right time to call the play because it worked. But
Yeah.
again, those are those plays where it can go either way, and it'll change your perspective of how good of a game KLC is called, or how good of a game or how good of a coach somebody is, to where if it works, great, they're awesome, amazing coaching, amazing play calling. If it doesn't work, then we're sitting here like, what the fuck are we doing? What
Yeah.
the hell was that play call, KOC? It's 3rd and 12. Why not just take something down the field? Why are you doing this fancy crap? So those are those plays that can change your perspective on a guy and how he calls games. But getting to the overall game, and again, Sam Darnold had a really good game outside of a few throws. 28 for 34, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 really, really, really bad interceptions. And that second interception is that much worse because, like we said, Jordan Addison was wide open. If he just waited
And the throw he threw, it was quadruple coverage, bro. There was literally 4 Colts right there, dog.
Yeah,
like,
it was just
that's what really bothers me with that shit, man. Is like,
but that's there's a reason why he's
Yeah.
our stopgap quarterback. This isn't our quarterback of the future. This is why Sam Darnold isn't a franchise guy somewhere, because he makes boneheaded plays. But he has a coach now that's able to limit those a little bit more. So you may not get him as often, but you're still going to get him. And we're going to get at least 1 or 2 per game. Unfortunately, in this game, 2 of those ended up in 2 interceptions. Now, he had the fumble, the scoop and score for the Colts, which I'm not going to 100% put that on him. I believe he ended up running into
that's on Bradbury.
Yeah, I think he ran.
But real quick though, I looked at something that dug a little deeper into that play. Bradbury did get demolished, but
Ed
Ingram fucking tripped him too, like stepped on his foot. So like,
there's one thing Ed Ingram
just the whole cluster fuck.
There's one thing Ed Ingram is elite at, and that's stepping on his teammates' feet. That like every other week it happens with this guy, whether it's his quarterback, whether it's his center. This guy is elite at stepping on his teammates' feet. But nonetheless, came away with the win. Sam Darnold looked good outside of those 2 really, really bad throws. But who would you guys consider your winners and losers in this game? I'll start with you, Randy.
Go first.
Well, I didn't give this guy praise, and I should have last night. I'm going to start with Cam Robinson, man, playing left tackle. What we saw from Kessenberry when Christian Darrisaw went down, I just said, oh, boy, we are screwed. And the fact that they were able to trade for a starting left tackle, albeit he got benched the week before in Jacksonville, and this is going to be his revenge game coming up, maybe to show Doug Peterson and company what's really good. But the fact for him to come in on short notice to get a practice with his new team, step in and do his job, he was really solid. I got to put him at the top of the list. He was asked to do a hell of a lot, and he did a hell of a job. I guess the other winners that I'm going to say, Brian Flores. Put it, 1 or 2, Brian Flores and Cam Robinson, they're right there. This defense stepped up, and I thought I was really, of course, we talk about you got to stop the run. We've been saying that every single game with these running backs we've been going up against, but the last 2 games, it's like, all right, are we really going to be able to stop the run? It's fine to say it, but are they going to execute? And they did it. And that forced the Colts to have to rely on Joe Flacco to save the day. The defense only allowed a true 6 points. The only touchdown they scored was off of the Vikings mishap with the interior offensive line. And then after that, I mean, take your pick. I'll give KOC a nod too for that game-winning drive that he dialed up. But I would say that's my top 3. Cam Robinson, Brian Flores, KOC.
Yeah, no, one of those field goals came off the Sam Darnold second interception as well. So Colts had a short field. Defense got to stop. They were still in field goal range. They ended up kicking a field goal. So essentially, they gave up a late 3 points in that game when the Colts were just like, screw it, let's kick the field goal and then kick the onside kick trying to get back into that game. So defense played great, and that's without Blake Cashman as well. We're getting Cashman back more than likely next week. Fingers crossed. So that's a big one.
So
What about losers? What's about losers for you,
yeah,
Randy?
Losers.
Besides Ed Ingram.
I was about
Losers.
to say him and Garrett Bradbury.
Yeah.
That's really it for me. I can't think of, well, I don't want to call Sam a loser because he just is who he is, but quite honestly, it's just those two guys, Garrett Bradbury, Ed Ingram. They are disasters. They're going to continue to be disasters. I hate the fact that I understand that Garrett Bradbury got tripped up. I'm still not giving him a pass on that. I hate the fact that after his 4th year, we didn't pick up his 5th year option. After his 3rd year, you knew you were going to let him go. 4th year, all right, woo, we can wash our hands and be done with him. And they brought him back. And I'm like, what are you expecting? Something different that he's going to finally figure it out? No, he's ass. So no, those are my 2 losers.
Yeah.
I don't have any more beyond that.
What about you, Rap? Winners and losers last night.
My winner, I'm gonna give. First of all, my first winner gonna be Hitman. Like Hitman, fucking balled out last night, low-key, bro. He balled out last night. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like he showed that he still got it, man. According to last night, he damn sure did. You know, and then I'll give it to Dallas Turner. I'm gonna give Dallas Turner one. You know, and then I'm gonna give Justin Jefferson. I just think, I mean, obviously we're used to JJ playing the way he plays, but last night, I think he really put on a show, man. Although he didn't get in the end zone, man, he really catapulted his team and was the leader he was supposed to be, making plays happen, man. A lot of big catches over the middle, taking hits, and kind of just doing his thing, man, being Justin Jefferson. So I got to give him his props. Losers, you already know it. You know what I'm saying? Ed Ingram, definitely a loser. I want to give a shout out to Byron Murphy too, man. Byron Murphy shutting us the hell up the past couple of games too, man. Byron Murphy, like shit, he doing his thing a little bit, bro. He doing his thing a little bit, bro.
He has no choice but to make these interceptions to make up for how garbage he was shutting us up. No, get 5 more interceptions and then I'll shut up for how awful he's been.
Thank you for
dandelions.
Thank you for catching a dime that was thrown to you.
Hey, look, man. Hey, positioning is still. Hey, you know he in position, man.
I'll give him that, but
you can give him one flower, goddamn it. I ain't telling you to give him the whole bouquet yet, but I'm just saying, like at least a flower or 2. You got.
I'll give him a tumbleweed.
I'll give him a dandy.
He's not shutting me up at all. He's slowly closing the gap on how ass he has been.
I mean, somebody got to
keep making plays.
He's the only motherfucker doing it right now. So shout out to him.
You know what's funny too? It's always your weakest corner that seems to be in position to get those interceptions too, because he's always being targeted.
But again, bro, but Gilly been mid the past couple games, bro. Gilly's been mid.
That's true.
Dog.
That's true.
How was he last night?
Last night he was all right. He still was allowing shit last night too, though. There was a big play that he allowed last night with the boy, the rookie wide receiver that was crucial. That
did the Colts have a play over 25 yards?
Yeah, bro. The sideline catch with what's the guy, the kid from Texas, the Addison Mitchell. Yeah, Mitchell. That Gilly got cooked, bro. Gilly got cooked. Like, let's keep it gangster. He got cooked, bro, and he's been doing that. He's late to react, man. A boy getting up there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna take anything away from him. I think he'll bounce back, and he's good enough to get us through the season. But still, yet he been slipping the past couple games, man. In my opinion, you feel me?
Hey, look, we're not gonna drag Gilly down with Byron Murphy. Okay?
No, I ain't gonna drag him down that far. No, I ain't gonna drag him down that far.
But my winner is gonna do 2 names. My winner is Jordan Addison. Now, obviously, his stats weren't, crazy stats by any means. 5 receptions, 42 yards, and just an amazing touchdown catch. Yeah. One of the catches of the year. If Garrett Wilson didn't have that catch last week or on Thursday night against the Texans, and I believe didn't Justin Jefferson have a really amazing catch? Yeah, he did against the Rams last week. So if it wasn't for those catches, Jordan Addison might have the catch of the year so far. That was an amazing catch, being able to tip it to himself and then bring it in with one hand for a touchdown. I think that does wonders for his confidence. But not just that. I think it kind of breeds confidence into Sam Darnold again with Jordan Addison. Instead of just force feeding Justin Jefferson like you're doing, realize you have another wide receiver one on the other side of the ball in Jordan Addison. Now, obviously, you have TJ Hawkinson, which, I mean, he had a good game, 3 receptions for 27 yards, which it's kind of what Randy predicted. I don't know if
he had a good game
for being his
he
first
he
game
only
back.
played half the snaps.
Yeah, so
Even though they said he wasn't going to be on a pitch
but
count.
we can't sit there and call that shit a good game. Now he was out there, bro. 3 catches, but I mean he didn't drop anything. So I guess
that's what I'm saying.
First game back, torn ACL.
Yeah,
half the snaps.
No drops.
But you sitting here praising Byron Murphy.
That motherfucker been out. That motherfucker been out over a year and a half. I don't give a damn. Your name TJ Hawkinson, man. Go out there and ball.
But we also got to understand too. We also got to understand too. Josh Oliver had 5 receptions for 58 yards.
No, shout out.
He was a beast last night.
Yeah,
those numbers and those targets, those are TJ Hawkinson's numbers in targets. So if he plays 100% of those snaps, he's going for about 80 yards and a touchdown, and he's getting 10 targets. So, I mean, not a great game by any means by TJ Hawkinson. But again, I wasn't expecting some 100-yard game from TJ Hawkinson.
Right.
I think it's going to take a couple weeks for him to kind of get his feet under him and get back to the old TJ that we know. So I'll take that as a win. My loser of the night, and this may be due to injury as well, is Will Reichard. You went 0 for 2 on your field goal.
You call him a loser? He's hurt.
Loser, man.
He's clearly dealing with an injury, and I saw a report that he might be out for a while.
I'm getting Xavier Rhodes. I'm getting Rhodes vibes, man.
He was Mr. Perfect. He was perfect, but he's dealing with some sort of injury on his kicking leg, and he fought through it. We can't call him a loser.
I'm getting Xavier Rhodes vibes.
Amen. Was he injured on that first missed field goal, though? Was he injured on that first missed field goal?
Apparently, he was injured the whole game. Even they showed a clip of him on a kickoff where he sent the ball up, and you could tell he was grimacing after the fact.
That was a late kickoff.
Oh, no,
that was a second.
To call him a loser?
I'm getting Rhodes vibes.
He was fighting through like this is his moneymaker. The right leg.
Last night, I'm not talking about the season. Last night, he would be on my loser category. I hate to say it.
Loser last night.
I hate to say it.
He was a loser last night, Randy. Like, keep it real. He missed. He missed.
Injured or not?
3,
2. Kicker's kicking leg is hurt. Oh my God, he's a loser. You're soft. Are you kidding me?
Hey man,
that's crazy.
You're a football player. If your throwing arm is
you got one job, one damn job.
Quarterback, and you have a bad game, you're still a loser for that day. Sorry.
Shohei Ohtani got a shoulder injury before he signed with the Dodgers. He couldn't pitch all year. Is he a loser too?
That's baseball.
But that's his money make on his pitching arm.
You do not compare a pansy sport like baseball to football.
You can compare a pitcher to a kicker in football. We're not talking about receivers or quarterbacks.
We're talking about that.
You strap on the helmet and the pads just like every other player.
Yeah, pitchers definitely.
This is a man's sport. This is a man's sport.
All of a sudden, we're considering kickers in football as gladiators. Kicker's been getting shitted on since the beginning of time. Now we're trying to say he's one of the gladiators in this sport.
I'm saying this because I expect higher from real Will Reichard. All right. I'm not saying this because I think real Will Reichard is a loser. Last night, he's on my loser list. And the loser list is very, 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 very short.
Oh my gosh.
And one of the main reasons why I said Will Reichard is because you guys already stole my damn answer for losers of the night with the interior offensive line. So I wanted to spice things up.
Don't let Will Reichard be an innocent bystander because we're taking your answers.
Somebody got to
just double down on Garrett Bradbury and Ed Ingram like everybody else.
That's already a given. It's already a given.
Well, all right. Will Reichard, I'm sorry, man.
That's Will Reichard. All I'm saying, Will, is you wasn't hurt until you missed that kick, bro. Once you missed that kick, you went to the sideline and started acting hurt. I'm just saying, Xavier Rhodes, I don't know. I'm just keeping it real.
I don't know.
Y'all wild, man. This is crazy. Man was hurt.
I love Will.
And he might be out for a while.
I know that sucks. That really does.
And
I
hope he gets back real soon because I love Will the Thrill. That's my boy. But last night, You're on my losers list. That's it. You can bounce back. It's okay.
My boy doubling down on that losers
It's
list, boy. But
okay.
hey, we got to make a meme
I love
with
you,
SK putting Will Reichert on. Hey, you gonna lose some supporters behind that shit,
Hey,
boy.
man.
You know how
Hey,
the fan base feel about Will the
look,
Thrill.
I just call it how I see it, man. I just call it. If you're banged up, you're banged up. You still got to get out there and do a job, right?
How
Pretend
dare
your
you
leg
talk
isn't
bad about
hurt.
Will the
Just go
Thrill.
ahead, further injure your already injured leg
look.
for the sake of not being soft.
What was I not sick last week? Did I not have
Oh,
COVID?
we're not doing this because your voice.
Did I
Your
not
voice?
have COVID? Did I not have COVID when I came back from the home opener? And guess what? Where was I at Monday night? I was right
Purple
here
Parlor.
using my voice to preach the gospel, do my job. I was right here. All right.
Yeah.
And I didn't miss a
Yeah.
kick, did I?
Yeah, let's go.
That was a good show.
Did you attempt to kick?
I didn't need my leg.
That's the point.
I used
That's
my
the
voice.
point.
All right. So, but
well,
I
we'll
mean,
see,
look,
man. Shout out Will Reichert, man.
again, that's a stretch for me. That's me reaching for something other than interior offensive line, and it's a good thing. I couldn't find anybody else to give the loser title to outside of the interior offensive line. Will Reichert went 0 for 2 on kicks. One of those kicks, he was injured. I give him that. Again, Will the Thrill, I love you, dog. You're my kicker. You're my franchise kicker, my guy. But sometimes you got bad weeks.
Well, don't listen to these guys, man. I got your back over here. I saw what you went through. You're the man. You'll bounce back whenever you return.
Hey, go get your haircut.
I wonder, did he get injured? Did he get injured on the kickoff or something? Like on the early kickoff?
They didn't say exactly where it
he wasn't on the injury report.
Now, this is
wasn't.
what kind of scares me, and I saw this on Twitter earlier. He had a serious quad injury going back to 2019 where his quad completely tore off of his bone. Like, it was a super serious quad injury. Now, I hope it's nothing to that extent. Obviously, if it was that bad, we probably would have heard about it already. So I don't think it's that bad, but it's something to monitor. It's something to keep an eye on to where, I mean, we're the Vikings.
That would be the Viking shit, though.
Like,
we
found a franchise kicker, and now his quad fell off his bone.
Nah. I now that you say that, I'm sure the shit's off the bone for sure. I'm sure the shit's off the bone, man.
It's the Vikings way.
It's the Vikings. I'm sure the
shock me.
shit's severed for sure. It's over with.
But,
don't
I
get
mean,
too happy.
We kind of touched on it earlier, but Cam Robinson, man, Kwesi again making a great move. Now, again, it's only one game. It's only one game. We got to see more out of Cam Robinson here, but very, very good game. I think only 2 pressures on the night, no sacks given up. I think he had a holding penalty. But outside of that, 36 snaps, I believe, or 36 pass snaps.
34
pass snaps. No sacks, 2 pressures.
Nice.
After having one practice with his new team. Great pickup by Kwesi. Hopefully this play continues from Cam Robinson. But I mean, your guys' thought on the whole Cam Robinson pickup and how he played in this game.
Go ahead, Randy.
I thought he was great. And I think, honestly, for a more macro viewpoint, I think because of the way that Kwesi handled this trade, first off, trading for a starting left tackle is nuts. I didn't think it would be possible. I thought, if anything, you're going to have to handle this in-house, settle for Kessenberry, who's awful, or give a flyer of a shot to Walter Rouse. But to be able to pull off that trade is crazy. He performed great. Not only did he perform great, but I think because of the way that Kwesi handled this trade, whereas he somehow negotiated the Jags, Trent Baalke, to take on $7 million of his remaining contract this year, this tells me that not only were you able to adequately, as best as you can, replace Christian Darrisaw, they've got another move in their bag. They have $11.4 million in cap, according to Spotrac. Why would you negotiate for the Jaguars, his former team, to take on $7 million remaining unless you are going to make a big trade, or at least one more trade before tomorrow's trade deadline? So I think it's a domino effect for the positive with this team. Cam Robinson did a hell of a job, and I think there's more to come tomorrow by the trade deadline.
Yeah. Listen, man, I think This was I love some Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, dog. Like I just
Yeah.
really do, man. I think this
Outside of his
motherfucker's
drafts.
calculated, bro. Like, yeah, outside of his
Well,
draft, and even
No,
his draft
Randy
though
Scott.
aren't
no,
that
come
bad.
on. No,
Hold up.
I don't even agree. Go ahead, Rap. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, Randy, because I agree with I know what you about to get at. Go ahead, Randy. Tell him. Because
I
you probably gonna
think
say the same shit I'm gonna
I
say.
think it's unfair to go after Quasi's draft class outside of 2022. That was horrible. But come on, let's be real. 23, you've got Jordan Addison, who could be
Easy.
a wide receiver one on any
That
other
was
team.
kind of an obvious pick, though.
You've
Not
got
really.
Mekhi Blackman, who got hurt, who could be a promising corner or at least a starting point for your young cornerback room going into next year.
Yeah.
You have Dallas Turner, who
Ivan
is going
Pace.
to get better and better. Ivan Pace Jr.
We hope.
was an undrafted free agent. And you have your franchise quarterback of the future in waiting. Like, what are we? We're sitting here criticizing his draft.
Okay, so what is that? 4 guys and 3 drafts?
Well, let's be honest here. How many guys work out
And one of
in
those
the draft?
guys was
It's
an undrafted free agent.
Huh?
he's still a productive player.
Yeah,
He's
no,
still
no,
a
no,
starter.
yeah, that counts.
What matters where you
I-
selected him or if
But
you
I'm
sign him?
talking about 4 players from 3 drafts.
Well, with this past draft, you
one
traded
of those
all of
guys
your
is
draft
injured.
picks to move up into the first round to have 2 first-round picks, and then you use that bottom first-round pick to trade up again for goodness. You traded up what, twice in the first round?
I will say this though. I agree
For
with you on this.
JJ and Dallas Turner?
Yeah. I agree with you on this, SK. Like, drafting might not be his
It's not his
strongest
strong
suit. Yeah, it's not his strongest suit, but it's still decent if
It's
you
not
look at-
ass.
It's not ass, right? Like the first draft, it seemed that way when you're thinking about the Andrew Booth Juniors and the Ed Ingrams and Lewis Cine, and now these guys are just nobodies. And it's like, okay, yes. And we all criticized them for that. I'm sure everybody in Vikings Nation criticized them for that draft. But again, bringing Jordan Addison, I know you said it's an obvious pick, but shit, you never knew, man. There was a couple wide receivers in that same draft that got picked above him that haven't had half the production of what Jordan Addison's been having. You feel me? So, I mean, that was a calculated pick. And then this draft in particular, this last one, I feel like was just amazing. Dallas Turner, we talked about it last night, was flashing. I know we were having a conversation where people were like, when we played the Rams, and there was somebody in the chat that was saying, we should have went for Jared Verse. And I had to explain to them, you got to remember, the Rams don't have anybody else but Jared Verse. So you see a lot
same
more
situation here.
Right. So like if
Turner.
Dallas Turner was playing 90% of the snaps, he would be flashing around the field more. You would get a lot more production.
We don't know that though. We don't know that because he doesn't get 90% of the snaps.
Exactly.
Now because you have Grenard and AVG.
Right. Because we have some ballers.
And that's where I love Kwesi at. I love Kwesi when it comes to free agency and on top of that, if he sees a weakness on this team, prime example was us going out there and trading for Cam Robinson. If there is a weakness on our team, he's going to go fill it. He's not going to sit around and this was my gripe with Rick Spielman, to where there was guys, especially along the offensive line, to where we're going to work it out. The offensive line is, one link, one chain. They all got to just kind of coexist and we'll work it out. That's the complete opposite for Kwesi. So I could say this, and we don't have to sit here because we can sit here and talk about this for an hour or two.
Yeah.
Rick Spielman's a better drafter than Kwesi is so far. That could change.
Okay.
That could change because I'm gonna give Kwesi the benefit of the doubt. He's a brand new GM.
But how much better? Hold on, real quick. How much better would you say?
As a drafter?
Yeah, as a
right
drafter.
now,
how much better would you say Rick Spielman is than Kwesi if you base
right now? I would say Rick Spielman is levels above Kwesi.
Levels above? You think so?
As a drafter, yes.
I'm not.
But it's because of the background. The background of Rick Spielman, his background is as a scout kind of guy. Kwesi is a money ball guy. That's why he's so good at making these trades. That's why he's so good at finding these guys in free agency. How many of us knew Jonathan Grenard was that guy when free agency started? I don't think anybody really had their eye on Jonathan Grenard.
The league knew. I mean, he had 12.5 sacks last year for the Texans and shit. And he was balling.
The Texans let him walk. And on
I
top
think
of that, when we played the Texans, they're lining him up against a tight end one-on-one. So obviously they didn't have respect for Jonathan Grenard. Kwesi sees something in these guys that are free agents, and he sees the production, and not the production that they've shown so far. Well, obviously Grenard had 12 and a half sacks, but he sees what they can produce in the future. That's what I like for Kwesi. When it comes to drafting, I'll give him benefit of the doubt because he's a new guy and his background isn't a scout. I'm going to give him a couple years to get his draft shit together. But if he can't get better at drafting players, I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck them picks. Fuck them. Trade them away. Do what the Rams did a couple years back. Throw them at somebody for a top corner like Ramsey. Go out there and get a defensive tackle, which they didn't trade for a defensive tackle. They already had Aaron Donald. But fuck them picks. If you can't draft the right player, fuck them picks. Go get a superstar that's ready to come over and play for a contending team. So Kwesi, not a great drafter, but when it comes to free agency and trade wise, I love it. That's where I love Kwesi in that aspect. He addresses a team's need and exactly what we're looking for, and he goes out there and he finds the right guy. So that trumps what we've been seeing in the draft. But if free agency wasn't working out the way it's been working out, especially this offseason, we'd be sitting here like, Kwesi, dog, what's going on with you? You can't draft for shit.
Go ahead, Randy.
it is way too early to compare Kwesi to Rick Spielman, who was with this organization for like ever 10 plus years. And if we are going to compare the two, like it's 2022, as far as I'm concerned, it never happened. I think what he did in 23 and 24 has been excellent. But if we are going to compare the two, I'm going to give Kwesi credit in the fact that at least he's aggressive enough to make a move to trade up for players that he believes in versus Rick Spielman, who all he did was value quantity over quality of picks, trying to trade back forever for 6th, 7th round picks that never worked out. And also, Kwesi, I believe, has already surpassed Rick Spielman in the sense that Spielman was never able to find that quarterback. Never. Yeah. Christian Ponder, you had at least a thought that maybe Teddy Bridgewater could be the guy before he got hurt. But in Teddy's defense, I will say that he was really good at making game-winning plays, although over the course of a game, he's not going to light it up statistically. JJ McCarthy, from what we've seen, and I get that it's early, surpasses anything that Rick Spielman has ever done in terms of drafting a quarterback. So he's not only aggressive in trading up for quality of picks versus quantity, but he's also, at least somewhat for now, we feel really good about the quarterback position that he drafted moving forward going into 2025. But again, I think it's just too early to even be making this comparison at all.
Let's look at Rick Spielman's first draft as GM of the Minnesota Vikings. First round pick, Adrian Peterson. Second round pick, Sidney Rice. Third round pick, Marcus McCauley. Fourth round pick, Brian Robinson. 3 out of his first 4 picks were hits for the Minnesota Vikings. 1 being a Hall of Famer, 2 being in Sidney Rice, who played absolutely out of his mind when he had a quarterback in Brett Favre. And then you had Brian Robinson, who's a guy that Minnesota Vikings fans
I love Brian.
Love, who was an absolute beast when he had the opportunity to be. Let's look at his second draft. Not very good. I'll give him that. didn't have a first round pick. I believe in 2008. Did we trade our first round pick away, or did we lose it or some shit? But second draft wasn't very good. Outside of John Sullivan at center in the 5th round, hit on that one. And then you had LaTroy Guion, which he was decent for us for a good amount of time. Yeah. And you look at his third, I'm only going to look over the first 3 years. His third year, Percy Harvin in the first round, Phil Loadholt in the second round. And then you got Jasper Brinkley, you got Asher Allen, and some guys later on in the draft. If you look at his first 3 years drafting, you have a guy in Phil Loadholt, great offensive lineman. Percy Harvin, we already know what Percy Harvin was. Look at his second year. John Sullivan, great center for us for a long time. And then obviously the first year, Adrian Peterson, Hall of Famer, Sidney Rice, great year when he had a quarterback. And then you had Brian Robinson. So if
I'll
we're
never
comparing the
forget
first
Rick
3 years,
Spielman for paying Kirk Cousins $86 million.
but that was the right move to
No, the
make.
fuck it wasn't.
Yes,
No, it
it was.
wasn't.
Look, we can
Was
sit
it?
here
Was it? Was
we
it?
can
Not
look,
that
It
it's over.
was.
Was it
It
the right
was.
move?
we
No,
can
it
sit
wasn't.
here and we can criticize how bad
it wasn't.
Kirk was or how mediocre
That was a
Kirk
horrible
here.
move.
But when
That was
you
a
have an
horrible move.
opportunity as a team, you just went to the NFC Championship game. You have weapons in Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook. You
Right.
have those guys. You have an opportunity.
And guess
to
what?
upgrade
Those
the most
same
important
guys,
position in football.
both of those
Do
guys
it.
that we're naming, all those guys that we're naming had amazing years with Case Keenum as the quarterback. They did. And then
They
you
had
bring
great
in
years with
another-
Kirk too.
But they didn't like Kirk, though. That's the thing. Nobody wanted this
wasn't just
motherfucker
Kirk.
but Rick Spillman.
It
Rick
wasn't just
Spillman must
Kirk.
have had a buddyship with him because
It wa-
everybody else was like, bro, we just made it to the NFC Championship game. Why the fuck you getting rid of our
You can
quarterback?
ask Stephon Diggs to this day. The reason why Stephon Diggs wanted out of Minnesota wasn't Kirk Cousins. It was Mike Zimmer and how
That's
we were
facts.
running our offense.
Yeah.
And Adam Thielen, he felt was like he was that guy. He was their number one receiver. I felt like I needed to go somewhere else to be that number one guy. It wasn't because of Kirk Cousins. The Minnesota Vikings and Rick Spielman, we won't spend too much time on this because we can go off on a tangent all night on this.
I got one
They
more
made
point I
the
want to bring
they-
up. Go ahead.
We can.
They made the right move after that 2016 season or after 2017.
That
playoffs.
was not the right move, bro.
It was, if you have the opportunity to improve the most important position in football at quarterback, you go and do it.
You could
Especially
have
if you have
drafted. Why? What's
Boom.
wrong with the draft?
Drafted
You could have
who?
won the draft.
drafted who at the 28th pick or 29th pick in that draft.
You
Who are we
could
gonna
trade
draft?
up. You gotta be aggressive. You gotta
that's
be
not Rick
aggressive. We
Spielman's
just had this
elo.
talk.
I think
You
I think
bringing in
we're-
a motherfucker who ain't
End
never
it.
won nothing.
End
I
it,
think
Rand.
we're missing the big picture here. Yes, Rick Spielman was great at drafting all these skill positions, everything outside of quarterback. The quarterback position is where he failed, and it doesn't matter the supporting cast that you have. If you don't have adequate quarterback play, it doesn't matter. The furthest that his regime was able to get to was the NFC Championship games twice. 2009, it was all Brett Favre. Let's be real about that. And then 2017, okay, you had Case Keenum and it didn't work out 38-7, but I do believe that signing Kirk Cousins was the right move. However, here's where Rick Spielman fails at that, SK. Kirk Cousins, he didn't work out. But you know what he also did with Kirk Cousins on this roster? He shook his big old ass for Sean Mannion. And
Yes, he did.
he put us through hell. And guess what? That Lambeau game where Kirk Cousins was out because of COVID. All right, all you Vikings media members, Rick Spielman, Mike Zimmer, y'all swear this dude is the second coming of Jesus, and he got out there and looked like shit. And it shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody. That was Rick making a move at the quarterback position. Everything that Rick has done at quarterback, even with Kirk Cousins, but going after QB2, and we could talk about, we spent so much more time, not me, but the media did, breaking down why Kyle Sloter stinks and not coming up with reasons for why Sean Mannion is so great as we are pretending to be. Everything that Rick Spielman did at quarterback, I don't give a damn about anything else he did with defense, skill positions. Kwesi Adafo-Mensah has already given us more hope than we ever had with Rick Spielman at the quarterback position with JJ McCarthy.
I'll
And
give
real
you
quick, SK, you asked who we should have drafted real quick at 28th pick. We do realize Lamar Jackson was right there. Lamar
guess what?
Jackson got 30. He was a 32nd pick in that goddamn draft.
Probably would have passed on him either way.
Yeah,
So-
because the lack of knowing again, Rick Spielman, the lack of knowing what the fuck is right. Instead, you go and pay $84 million to a guy that has won nothing. That has won nothing, bro, proven nothing. And you bring him in and think he's gonna save you.
Brees. The Saints did the same thing with Drew Brees. Drew Brees didn't win shit before he got to New Orleans. But they went out
He
and they
was
signed.
still a damn good quarterback. I remember
Was
seeing
Kirk
him
Cousins
play
not
with
a
the
damn good
Chargers.
quarterback when we paid him?
No, Kirk was
He was
mid.
the number one free agent for a reason.
Yeah, because
said it was the
but it's
right
easy to
move.
be a number
Yeah, it was
one
the
free
right
agent,
move.
man. I mean, Derek Carr was the number one free agent last year, being a quarterback. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're a quarterback and you've had that kind of you've started a couple years for a franchise, you're gonna be number one for a free agent. I mean, that's kind of that's
It's
not you don't hang no banner for that shit.
it's
Like this
easy.
motherfucker's ass, man. Let's just call it for what it is.
It's easy to sit back now and say it was the wrong move with no Super Bowl titles
No,
and
I
we
was
didn't
calling
make
it the
any
wrong
deep
move in
playoff
2017.
runs. But what did Case Keenum do after he left Minnesota?
That's the thing, though. But like
Because if
it
you
doesn't
don't,
matter what
you
he
don't
did
find
after he left
Kirk,
Minnesota. It
if
was
you
about
don't
what
find
you
Kirk,
had in the
Case Keenum's your
building.
starting quarterback next year. We're not drafting Lamar Jackson. Case Keenum's a starting quarterback next year. We're not
But it was,
drafting Lamar Jackson.
but still, yet it was about what you accomplished and what you can build off. It's about building, man. Like Case Keenum actually had an almost MVP year that year too. It wasn't like, and we can end this convo. We're going on 55 minutes, but like, and it's in the past anyway. It doesn't matter. But like, again, man, it would be different if Case Keenum had a shitty ass season. Case Keenum threw for over, I think he had like 3,600 yards. He had 30 some touchdowns. Like literally, dead ass was on the verge of MVP type season. It wasn't like he was ass. I mean, god damn, I could see if he was, being that. I don't
He
know,
had
man.
one
That's
good year. He had one good year.
And then
He had
looking
one
at
good
Kirk
year.
Cousins and feeling like he's so great. I agree that it was the right move, but thinking that he's so great that you have to protect his feelings, having a bum ass QB2. Come on, man. Nah,
Well, I
Quasi
100%
Quasi got
Randy
JJ
ain't letting
McCarthy,
go.
and I feel
Randy ain't
so
letting go of
much.
Sean
all
Mannion.
agree on.
I
That's what
feel
we all
so
agree.
much better with Quasi as the GM because we have legit reason to have true hope at the quarterback position for the next 10 years because of Quasi. We never got that with Rick Spielman, ever.
Yeah.
Well, you already know how I feel about my dude JJ McCarthy. So you know
Oh,
I'm
yeah, that's
agree
a
with you
fact.
there.
That's
So
a fact.
I know don't be pandering me, okay, Randy. You know how to
You started. You did this. You said,
you
"Oh,
brought
Rick
this shit
Spielman.
up.
Oh,
And now
I
we
take
sat
him
here
over
and we
Quasi.
ranted for like 20
Quasi's
minutes.
ass at drafting.
You know
That's
how
you.
to pull at my heartstrings, man. You know if when JJ McCarthy gets brought up in conversation, you know I can't talk ill about that man. So, but we can get off the GM.
Yeah, let's get
comparison
off it. Let's
talk.
get
All
off
right.
it.
Yeah.
That was
was
fun, though. That was fun.
I think for all of Vikings history, we'll always go back from time to time
Yeah.
and talk about that. But I never thought I'd be talking about Sean Mannion in the year 2024 when our team is 6-2. But anyways, let's get to our Sizzlin 7, man. And it wasn't a rough week last week, but there wasn't much movement in our ranking. So if we go over the games from last week, or actually let's go over our overall record before we do that. Myself, I'm 36-20. Rap is 32-25, and Randy coming in last at 27-29. Last week's games, we didn't make it very interesting. We all went with the Texans. We all failed there. Jets came away with the win. Dallas at Atlanta. We all went with Atlanta. That was obviously the smart move. Denver at Baltimore. We all went with Baltimore. Chicago at Arizona. We all went with Arizona. The Rams at Seattle. We all went with the Rams. And then obviously the Colts Vikings game. We all went with the Vikings. And then the only one that was a little bit different was Detroit at Green Bay. Myself and Rap went with Detroit. Randy went with Green Bay. So that was the only difference there. Bringing our total, I think so.
So we went 6-1. We went 6-1.
Rap was good, bro.
Let's go, man. Hey, let's go.
It feels good to be 6-1, you know.
Yeah,
So
man.
that brings me to 42-21. Rap is 38-26, and Randy is 32-31. Okay, well,
man.
hey, you got a winning record now, Randy. Hey,
Slow
look,
and
we're
steady
above
wins the
500.
race.
Above 500.
I'm back, just like the
He's back,
Vikings.
baby, just like the
I never
Vikings.
left.
Let's go. Let's go. He's back.
Yep.
So what's coming up? Is it week 10? Are we already at week
Yeah,
10?
it's week 10.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, so here we are with week 10 of the NFL schedule. This is our Sizzlin 7. First game on the docket, and this one's getting a little more interesting as the Bengals are working their way back into the playoff race. Bengals at Ravens, Thursday night football.
I'm going Ravens. I'm going Ravens are beating shit right. They spanking shit right now. I'm going Ravens. Even though that game's always a little tough, I'm just write me down for the Ravens.
Okay.
You said Thursday night?
Yep.
Give me the Bengals.
Ooh.
Weird shit always happens.
Realistic Randy just won't learn, will he? He just won't learn.
Hey, I went 5-2 last week.
Yeah, you did go 5-2. You did your thing. You was in your bag.
Not as good as you guys, but right there.
It's a divisional game.
Do the right
I'm
thing.
gonna go
SK.
Cincinnati.
Thank
Cincinnati.
you.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Cincinnati.
Let's go.
Cincinnati. He's doing all that horn honking
Let's
until
go.
Cincinnati wins.
Yep.
Let's go, chat. Big dubs in the chat, man. You know what time it is. RAP about to make a comeback.
All right, next game, Sunday morning, or Sunday morning for me at least, Sunday afternoon for you guys. 49ers at Tampa Bay.
49ers at Tampa Bay.
Go ahead,
Yep.
Rap.
I'm going 7-0. Man, I feel 7-0 coming, man. I'm gonna keep it real
All
with
right.
you. Give me the 49ers.
Says this every
Give me
week.
the 49ers, man.
Maybe
You know what I'm
rehearsing that in the
saying?
mirror before we log on.
7-0, baby. 7-0.
Give me the 49ers, man, all day, man. You know what I mean? Is it in? It's in San Fran, you said?
No, it's in Tampa Bay.
It don't matter. Give me San Fran.
Damn.
I'm also going to take the Niners.
Yeah, give me San Fran.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Niners too. Which Tampa Bay is playing KC really good right now. KC's
What's
up
the score
10-7.
like?
10-7
okay.
at halftime right now.
Okay.
But Tampa Bay, no receivers, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. I think the 49ers getting Christian McCaffrey back. I think they're going to get their little swagger. They need this win because their division's heating up. The Rams are getting their shit together. Seattle looks like they're kind of dropping off. Arizona's first place in that division right now.
Yeah,
So
which is crazy.
I think it's a desperate win for San Francisco there.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay not having their receivers, that hurts. Next game, we're going to go Steelers at Commanders.
I think that's gonna actually be a better
Ooh.
game than people think, man.
It is.
Give me the Steelers. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh in there. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go with coaching. I think Pittsburgh defense. That's gonna be a tough outing for that rookie, man, for sure. Although I love Jaden Daniels, man. Real quick, man. You know, I wanted Jaden Daniels so bad. SK, you know, I even said I would have picked Jaden Daniels over our favorite quarterback. I just felt like he was gonna be the one, man. You know, and I watch him play Sundays now, and I'm like, son of a bitch, man. Like, why we couldn't be blessed with that? You feel me? Because that boy gonna be nice, man.
We got the young Prince and JJ.
We
McCarthy,
do. Shout out McCarthy, man. Shout out McCarthy for sure.
I'm going to take the Commanders. I think Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson right now, even as a rookie. I think they're the exact same player. And because it's at Northwest Stadium, I mean, this is going to be a playoff team. This is going to be a tough test. I'm going to take Jaden Daniels and the Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, you said that's a primetime game?
No, it's not prime time.
Okay.
No, it's Sunday afternoon.
Right.
Something's telling me the Steelers, but I'm gonna go Washington.
Let's
I'll
go.
probably be mad at myself
All right.
if Pittsburgh wins.
Boy, it's my comeback week right here, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Washington on this one. I'm gonna go
All right.
Washington. Next game, let's go Jets at Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I'm going Jets. I'm going New York. They're gonna win 2 in a row. They're gonna start bouncing back a little bit.
I'm going Arizona. You know what? Call of Duty just came out. I'm going New York. Going New York.
Oh, so this is me all along with Arizona. I'll take it.
There you go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
All right.
Jets, man.
I'm gonna give you that opportunity to
Give me the
get
Jets.
back in it.
Okay.
Let's go to. No, that's gonna be a blowout. I'm not gonna do that one. There's some mucky games this week. I guess we can go with this one. Broncos at Chiefs.
Give me the
think we're
Chiefs. That ain't a fucking
What?
game. Give me the
Look,
Chiefs.
Give us
You-
one of the nastier games. I'll take an ass bowl game.
Give me
You want
the
Eagles-
Germany.
you want-
read off the Germany game. I mean, it don't
you
get
want
much worse
Eagles
than that shit.
Cowboys? You want Eagles Cowboys instead?
But even
Yeah.
that's a gimme. Sure. Yeah. I mean,
I'd rather have Eagles Cowboys.
it's all
Yeah.
the same. Those two games are the same,
Yeah,
where
give
it's
me
a
Philly.
clear winner.
Giants Panthers. We're going.
Oh yeah,
Giants.
let's do that. All
That-
right.
and that's
Now
crazy.
we're talking.
That's the Germany game too. What I seen something on X where they were like, "What did Germany do to deserve this game?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for real, Doug,
Like,
for real.
god damn.
The Panthers are the home
Ooh.
team, if that matters at all to
Oh
you
my
guys.
gosh, man!
Giants.
Sorry, Germany. We didn't mean to send those two fucking people over there, or two teams over there, shall I say?
Hey man, y'all lost World War II for a reason. This is your punishment.
Yeah. You get to watch the fucking Giants and Panthers play. Hold on, which game are we picking for real? Which one are we?
Giants, Panthers.
I'm going Giants.
We're really doing this shit right now?
I'm going
Okay.
Giants.
Yeah, give me the Giants too, man. The Giants gotta win that fucking game, man. If the Giants don't win that game, I'm gonna be tapping into my boy TP Way, the Giant, and Juke. I know they're gonna be ranting like a motherfucker. I'll be there for it. Yeah, give me the
Daniel
Giants.
Jones finds a way
Uh-oh.
to lose to Carolina.
Oh,
And Bryce Young, even having to face the relentlessness of Dexter Lawrence, Bryce Young, he builds off of his confidence from this week. He gets the win. Give me the Panthers.
Oh
Okay.
man. Hey, let's not forget, Randy and Giants fans got a little bit of beef going on ever since the
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence trade.
Yeah.
rumors
Trade for
that-
Dexter Lawrence. Do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do
Don't
it.
make him go to
Please.
Germany.
Bro, if that
Same.
was to actually go down, bro, could you imagine the video we have to drop? We might have to do like an
Oh,
emergency pod to
Oh,
where we
man.
can
Oh,
like just get some real
just
good.
like we did after the
clippy
San
shit.
Francisco game, we're
Yeah.
pulling up comments. We're doing
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
So Giants
yeah,
fans, man, you guys better hope.
Don't let that shit
Find
happen.
out tomorrow.
Next game before the big one, obviously, Lions at Texans, Sunday Night Football.
Give me the Lions. I
The
don't
Texans
see the
are
Lions losing, bro. Like, I don't.
Yeah, the Texans, they're still without Nico Collins. Stephon Diggs is out for the year. It's Tank Dell and Joe Mixon. Give me the Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lions as well. So we're all gonna go Lions. Texans it's that sophomore slump. That's what they're showing.
Like,
so.
I hope that I get this game wrong. I really do. Like, if there's a game I hope I get wrong, it's this one, but I just don't see it. I think
don't
the
see it
Lions are
either.
gonna beat the shit out of them. Like, for the Lions are balling, dog. Like, we just gotta call a spade, bro. Like, they making this shit look easy. Like, for real, bro. They making this shit look easy, man. They're not just barely winning. They're just like putting shit in the dirt, man. Like, it's just not even fun.
Yeah. So, and that brings us to the big one, obviously, Minnesota at Jacksonville. Not only I think we all know who we're all gonna pick, but also add a little bold prediction for this game, maybe a little analysis for the people. How do the Minnesota Vikings win this game? Because I know we're all
Right,
picking
right.
them.
Yeah, yeah. Give me the Vikings. You know, first of all, I actually am gonna say that your boy Jordan Addison is gonna have 100+ yards this game. I think this just feels like a Jordan Addison, like, get over that century mark. I know he's okay as far as getting the touchdown last night, but I think he really wants to have that breakout game, that century. You know, that's kind of like a staple for a wide receiver who believes that they are him. They want at least over 100 yards receiving. I think this game feels right with that. Now, there's going to be a couple interceptions thrown in there to get him there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Based off of the quarterback, but that's cool, man. Just start throwing that bitch down there, man. Like, free three for real. You know, and I also believe that our defense is going to smother the Jaguars. I think it's going to be similar to what we saw last night. Just hoping that it's going to be a little cleaner on offense as far as out the gate, though. Like, out the
Yeah.
gate, I hope we have more, because I'm going to drive down there and go watch that game in person too. So, like, you know, I want to make sure
okay.
I want to make sure they balling out. But yeah, I think we're gonna win, man. I see Jordan Addison having a good game. It just feels right. For
You got a
sure.
score prediction?
I'm gonna say we're gonna win this. We're gonna win that game 28-16.
Okay. All right.
The defense forces at least 3 turnovers. I think the defense will be back. It will continue on against Jacksonville. I think they win pretty comfortably, 28-13.
Let's
And
go.
you get at least 160 yards on the ground offensively between Aaron Jones and Cam Akers. Cam Robinson, he gets his revenge game. Scope.
He pancaking shit. Yeah, let's
Yep.
go.
Yeah,
Like
I'm obviously going with the Vikings here. And just to kind of piggyback on the Cam Robinson thing, when our team plays a team from or a former team of a player that plays for us now, i.e. Sam Darnold against the 49ers, the Texans for Jonathan Grenard and Blake Cashman. Who else did we have? We had another team too that we played that was kind of a revenge game. We always seem to come out and ball for that player. And seeing how KOC kind of handled the post-game locker room speech, and Cam Robinson was the first one to get a game ball for that game. You can tell it meant something to him. He may have got a little emotional or something. It wasn't close enough for me to see if he was crying or whatever, but you can tell that meant something to him. And I'm almost positive this game right here means something to him, because I don't think it was necessarily his play that got him benched in Jacksonville. I think it was more so of just like, hey, let's see the young guy, because they have a young left tackle, and his last name's Little, I think, that they wanted to get a look at. So I think Cam's going to take this personal. And I think this team comes out and balls for him. I think it's going to be a little tighter than what you guys think, just because Jaguars seem to always play people really tight. Even if they're getting their ass whipped, they always seem to find their way back into the game in the fourth quarter. So I think it's tougher than what we think, but I think Minnesota comes out on top. I'm going to say 26-20.
Yeah.
And we get a defensive score as well.
So and real quick, man, I want to talk on that Cam Robinson, giving him the game ball and stuff, man. That's a prime example of KOC just, first of all, knowing psychology, being a leader, and really knowing how to motivate your players. He could have easily gave that game ball to Harrison Smith. There was a couple other players he could have easily gave a game ball to instead of Cam Robinson. Not to take away from how he played. I mean, he played good, but he played good based off of the circumstances. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, giving him that ball, shouting him out, really making him feel good, that's going to catapult him into next week and the week after and the week after to really want to go out there and lay his heart on the line for this team, man. So, shout out. That's one thing I admire about KOC is he's really good at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because most players will tell you they'll run through a brick wall for that motherfucker. And I'm going to tell you right now, Cam Robinson only been here for a week, and I'm sure he would tell you that right now just based off of being around him for less than a week. So
shit, he's big enough to run.
That was cool to see.
That was cool to see. That was cool to see, man. You know what I mean?
You can tell it meant a lot to him.
It meant a lot. Yeah. And another thing that made it important is he did it. He called him first before he called anybody else. He was the first game ball. So that's big, man. Those things matter, man. The way you operate in the locker room as a head coach and getting your players right, recognizing your players' hard work and stuff like that, man, that shit means a lot.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him 2 game balls after this week against his former team. So, but real quick too, since we're doing shout outs, man, you guys like our nice little overlay? You like our little layout now? We had to spruce it up a little bit for you guys. So we got to give a big shout out to Infinite Wonders 247. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for them, man. They hooked us up. Our boy Yogi did his thing on this overlay right here. So go and hit that subscribe button for Infinite Wonders 247 and Be For Real Media 247. So shout out to Yogi and whoever helped him on this,
nice
man.
Work.
Yeah,
loving
man.
the layout.
Yogi,
loving the layout.
My boy, man, for sure. Putting in that work.
Yeah, go give them a subscribe to their channel and give them some love, man, because they showed us some love as well. So, but anything you want to leave the people with before we get out of here, fellas?
Quasi.
Vikes, baby.
And Quasi we trust.
And Quasi we trust, man. Look, man, we need something to happen tomorrow, man. We got
something's gonna happen. They're gonna make a trade, either interior defensive line or corner.
Yeah.
They got too much money not to make a trade right now.
Yeah, it's happening, man. Quasi up all night tonight, man. Trust me, he ain't getting no sleep, man. My dog is in the kitchen.
You know, it'd be
Yeah.
crazy if it happens like right as we get off of this stream. Like anything's possible, or it happens
Yeah.
so late where we wake up tomorrow morning and say, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, they did
Yeah,
this."
they did.
They're gonna
that.
do something.
They're doing something. For
If
sure.
if it happens right after the stream, we're getting right back on this bitch and we're talking
For
about
sure.
this shit.
We'll
Send
do
the
it.
link again.
But again, appreciate you guys for tapping in as always. If you don't already, hit that subscribe button to Purple Parlor. And as well, we are on Spotify too. So if you haven't already, go give us a follow on Spotify at Purple Parlor. We post our audio podcasts up there as well. So if you're chilling at home or at work and you can't necessarily watch our podcast, you can always listen to it, put your headphones in, and get your work done with SK, Realistic Randy, and Rap in your ears. So again, we appreciate you guys for tapping in. It's always a great time. And man, let's get another dub. We got the dub. We're 6-2. Let's move to 7-2 against these Jacksonville Jaguars. It is your boy SK, Realistic Randy, Rap. This is the Purple Parlor. Until next Monday, guys. Man, it's a Skull Vikings week.
I say the same. I say the same. I say the same.